Yo, what is up, everybody? And welcome back to another Madden 24 online CFM game. We are now in week 14 of the 2027 season here in the Premier Madden League. We're taking on the Minnesota Vikings today in what is the final game of the 4-game gauntlet that was stuck in the middle of our schedule. It started with the division rival Seahawks. We played a fellow NFC North team in the Green Bay Packers, and then last week we played the Houston Texans. So far, we are 2-1 in this hell stretch, and it's been some competitive games throughout. We had a close one with the Seahawks that came down to a fake field goal. The Texans game came down to a last-second touchdown, and we nearly answered back. And the Green Bay game, while we got to the early lead, was still a sweat down to the very end. We'll see what the Vikings have to offer. They enter today with a 9-3 record, and just like any team in the NFC with a really good record, they're currently gunning for our Los Angeles Rams. We are still holding down the #1 seed in the NFC conference, and the Vikings would like a taste of that. They would like to get the tiebreaker on our Rams and perhaps control their own destiny from there. This Minnesota team, as talented as you would expect with Justin Jefferson, they got the X-Factor running back Bucky Irving, Deion Walker, superstar on the defensive line, and Nick Emenwari, who is currently the leader for Defensive Player of the Year voting in the NFC, actually ahead of Devon Jackson. So two of the best young safeties doing battle today with two of the best young teams at US Bank Stadium. Here we go. We are underway. And for our Los Angeles Rams, as we take this opening kickoff out with Eric Singleton Jr., always a home run threat on any given opportunity. For our Rams, there's a lot of incentive for us to try to get this #1 seed, because with the Rayshon Benny injury that we suffered last week, Rayshon Benny is going to be out until the divisional round of the playoffs, which means if we get that first round bye, we can get Rayshon Benny back for the playoffs without having to worry about playing a game without him. Benny, our best defensive lineman, one of our highest overall players in general. I believe he's a 96 overall superstar. So that would be the goal for sure, to be as healthy as possible going into the playoffs. And while we've had a number of injuries so far this year, Benny is really the only name right now that is on the injured list. And, you know, other than our rookie quarterback that we put on the IR during preseason, and he's just not going to come off the IR because we would rather have that roster spot than have him at this point. As Joe Milton with the takeoff, Joe Milton with the first down scramble and a gain of about 25. Fearless, and that fearlessness is going to cost him, as you see he's holding his wrist. And we'll see what the diagnosis is there. Our Los Angeles Rams have been headhunting quarterbacks the past couple of weeks. It feels like every week we suit up, we take down a quarterback. And yes, that is Sam Howell on the field, our backup quarterback from last season. He's now the backup for the Vikings. He's currently the QB1 for the Minnesota Vikings, and he's going to be the QB1 for the rest of the game. Joe Milton has been knocked out for multiple weeks with his injury. Sam Howell, as we know, is a more than capable backup as he delivers the touchdown throw to Justin Jefferson, who's hitting us with the gritty. That hurts. That hurts to see, but that's what we get for playing single coverage on Jettas, I suppose. So Minnesota currently with the early 7-0 lead. The good news for our Rams is, you know, we can afford to lose a game and still be the #1 seed. It'll just put a little bit more pressure on us to try to close out the regular season. And at this point, we're in a pretty good spot to make the playoffs, so we're not too worried about that. But especially with this injury, we want to go for the #1 seed. At the same time, we don't want to lose any more bodies in that pursuit for the 1 seed. So how do we play all that? Well, first we just play the game and see what happens as this pass is intercepted out of the reach of Terry McLaurin, and that's Emenwari with the INT. And we're not helping our boy Devon Jackson in his Defensive Player of the Year candidacy. He's going for the 3P, but with Emenwari getting that interception, that will give him another leg up. So we'll see if Devon can make up for it. Maybe on this drive. Second down, Sam in trouble. Got it off. Hawkinson directed out of bounds by Dre Greenlaw. Third down on the drive. You can get a first down at about the half-yard line. Howell staying behind the line. Has a man open, and it's a touchdown to Cornelius Johnson. Sam Howell tight-roping the line. Oh, wow. That was done to near perfection by Sam Howell. For our defense, as Singleton takes a while to kneel the ball out, yeah, Definitely, could have done better on the pass rush, could have done better on the coverage. A lot of things could have been better on that play. Is Jalen Henderson off to a 1-for-6 start. Now we have another fumble. It's another fumble lost by C.J. Donaldson. Our offense has been nightmarish the past couple of weeks. Between the C.J. Donaldson fumbles and the Jalen Henderson misfires, I don't know what's going on. Remember last week, Jalen missed every throw in the book on our way to the loss to the Houston Texans. C.J. Donaldson fumbled on the opening play of the second half, and missed opportunities like that, it's just not giving us a chance. We're getting blown out. It's 21-0. This is a straight up disaster, and we're talking about 1 seed and all this stuff. That really doesn't matter. When we're playing like this, I mean, we can make the playoffs, but we'll probably be one and done just like last year if we keep on doing stuff like this. So, I don't know. Do we bench C.J. Donaldson? Do we limit his carries? Because I believe it's been, 3 of the past 4 weeks he's fumbled the ball. Our same streak of injuring quarterbacks. Whenever we injure a quarterback, it seems like C.J. Donaldson tries to give back by fumbling the football. So, yeah, our streak of injuring quarterbacks goes all the way back to like week 10 with CPU Kyler Murray, right? We injured Bo Nix for multiple weeks. We injured Pearson Clarkson last week, and now we've taken out Joe Milton as Terry McLaurin trying to provide a spark to the offense. I mean, in an RPO, you got to be able to make that completion, right? Wide open, Jalen streaking, and James Cook is scoring up and down the field. Rather quickly go our Los Angeles Rams to just shake that goose egg off the scoreboard. The good news is, while it's 21-0, it happened rather quickly. There's a lot of time for us to recover, and, we just got to take this piece by piece, right? At this point, if we could get the halftime down 10 or less, I would say, that would be welcoming. Though right now, defensively, we're kind of getting shredded to pieces. Sam Howell is doing whatever he wants. He has 3 passing touchdowns, and it seems to be he's the better quarterback than Joe Milton. And we know Sam Howell is capable of making just about any throw in the book. He'll try to test that again, and he connects with Justin Jefferson, who's having his way with Azariah Thomas right now. While we like Azariah to be our guy, I don't know if there is a guy on the planet capable of stopping Justin Jefferson one-on-one. As Louis Fuji injured on the play. That's the wide receiver 2 of the Minnesota Vikings, as Bucky Irving has been held in check pretty well so far, but it also doesn't matter with how well Sam Howell has been passing the pigskin. Ball in his hands. Here we go. 3rd down. He's got TJ Hawkinson and Sam Howell. He's just seeing the field like every target is the size of the Pacific Ocean. So we are clearly in trouble as the Vikings enter the red zone once more. Howell is down, and maybe our pass rush can get in his head. Gabe Hull with the sack. Ashton Gulon making some noise as well. Here comes Byron Young, but not before the pass is off, and it's nearly a touchdown to Cornelius Johnson. Another 3rd down conversion on the drive, and driven backwards is Bucky. Devon Jackson with a big tackle. A loss of 4 on the play. Grant Delpit with a goal line stand. The interception. He's jumping for joy, and finally brought down. The offensive lineman from behind got us, and a nice stop by our defense, and a fortunate stop, even though it was a user play, but we were getting shredded, right? So and the Vikings do what they got to do. They will eventually score a touchdown. They just, went to the one part of the field they couldn't, the part where our user was at, and he put his hands in the cookie jar. But let's see if we could at least get a 3rd down. No, that was an open man, but Jalen Henderson misses the pass, and I mean, that's par for the course for our offense right now. It's just a walking disaster. What could go wrong will go wrong. Will we fumble? Yeah, probably. Will we miss like a block on a play? Yeah, probably. And then if everything goes well, are we gonna, get an open guy? Are we gonna make the throw? Probably not. So yeah, I just suppose we'll play some defense for now. All you can do is execute. All you can do is execute to the highest potential that you can. And if the play happens, it happens. Until then, you just got to keep on trusting the process and keep yourself in the game. Keep yourself somewhat level-headed, as frustrating as the experience might be. And as you see here, we're going to get an intentional grounding. But shout out to Azariah Thomas for getting that interception. And I got to mention that Ro Torrance got a dev upgrade that you saw at the beginning of the video. As we missed a drag. Yeah, sure, why not? Yeah, Ro Torrance got a dev upgrade. He's now a superstar. So that changes things up a little bit for our secondaries. We'll have to punt the ball here after this Jalen scramble is not going to get close to 20 yards. And that punt's nearly blocked. Yikes. So yeah, Ro Torrance is a superstar, and one of his abilities is deep route KO, which allows you to get some of those nice knockout animations in man coverage on passes that go 20 yards or further from the line of scrimmage. So, you know, while we talk about Azariah Thomas being our guy, Ro Torrence, I mean, he could be the guy that we actually try to stick on #1 receivers if that deep route knockout works as well as it sounds like it should. So we're going to try that out this game. Try to put Ro in a lot more man coverage. You see right now he's covering Justin Jefferson, sticking on him and getting the swat. Wow, that wasn't even a knockout. That was just Ro Torrence playing as good of coverage as you can ask for. And I mean, dare I say, it feels like we just have 2 #1 corners now, right? So we have that in our bag to go deep into whenever we need it, as James Cook on the punt return. He's gotten by the punter. James is cooking out of stamina and down 2 yards short. But what a return by James Cook with the offense faltering. Cook helps out on special teams, and CJ Donaldson with a vulture on the very next play. Look, man, all 3 phases of the game matter. If you're not doing well in one phase, there are still 2 other parts of the game that you can vastly affect the outcome in. Defense, we're starting to figure it out a little bit. Special teams, James Cook, I mean, he's an all-pro returner, it feels like, and, you know, dare I say, kind of have 2 of those guys, right? Eric Singleton's kick return ability, James Cook's punt return ability. It's quite the dynamic duo, along with Chase McLaughlin knocking down every field goal he can. It's like we have a 3-headed monster on special teams, as Azariah Thomas surviving to swat that ball. 43 seconds left in the half. Minnesota pushing to try to get a score to make it a 2-possession game going into the halftime locker room. Howell just got it off, and it's knocked out. Cornelius Johnson had a step, but the pressure might have made that throw a little underthrown by Sam Howell and allowed Bo Braid the chance to recover, as we are buried deep in our own territory, which means we're probably not going to push the issue to end this first half. Jalen going to take a sack right here, a cover sack, and that's actually going to be a charge timeout to us. Shout out to Osiris Torrance, the starting center who got injured on the play. I would have just let it go to halftime, but now we got to run another play. And, you know, maybe we'll see if we can get a first down, get something special to happen. We'll run it with CJ, hope he doesn't fumble the ball, and it's actually going to take us to halftime here. Minnesota's not going to call a timeout. I figured they would. You know, they tried to block a punt earlier. I figured they'd call a timeout, try to block another one, but we just both sign a treaty and peace treaty, and we just go to halftime, I suppose. So Osiris Torrance, he's going to be knocked out for a couple of weeks, so that'll bring in our backup center, which you saw is about an 80 overall, so it's not really too much of a drop-off. Torrance is like an 83 overall, so it's kind of light for light part. That's not a big deal. We'll live with that. We can survive that. What we cannot survive is Gabe Hall getting injured, our superstar defensive tackle. That is what we don't want to see. Our defensive line finally at somewhat full strength. We're just missing Rayshon Benny, but we'll await the diagnosis on Hall. Thankfully, it's not bad, but we're not going to rush that one. We're late in the regular season, and while I said we'd like to chase the #1 seed and all that, we're not going to risk health. And when I say that, these are the scenarios that we're going to be very cautious on. If it costs us, you know, it gives us a lesser chance to win this game, it's all right, as long as we have a better chance to win a playoff game with Gabe Hall on the field. That's the main concern. But we do get to stop on defense on that drive, and all of a sudden, we have a chance to tie the game up here on our opening possession of the third quarter. We were down 21-0. The game looked like it was falling apart, but we have stuck in it, mainly thanks to our defense. Let's see if the offense can get a third down conversion. Jalen drop back going to a man who's been rather silent so far, Julian Fleming. But then again, everybody's been silent with Jalen Henderson that only has 5 completions. It will stay at 5, even though Terry McLaurin gets wide open. It seems like those corner routes Jalen Henderson cannot hit for whatever reason. His accuracies are all in the 90s, so it makes no sense to me as Jalen's on the run. That's CJ downfield. Oh, Jalen, he just needs to be as out of control as possible to be on target. It makes no sense, but we roll. We score! RJ Maryland got it. Touchdown, and it's a tied ball game. We have rallied to score 21 unanswered points at US Bank Stadium. Home crowd feeling nervous, and now Sam Howell is truly under the test, right? He's under the pressure. Before, he was playing rather carefree, backup quarterback, just doing his thing. Everything was moving, but now we've made the comeback. Now the pressure's on. Let's see if he can deliver some big throws. Third down, ball in his hands, looking to make a play, and he's dumped. Ashton Gillette. Woo-hoo! We needed that a whole lot. And let's see if James Cook has a chance to return this punt. It's in the corner, but it's in play. Gunner over pursues. Cook outside and tripped up. Oh my! That had touchdown, or at least past midfield written all over it if it weren't for the shoestring tackle. Nonetheless, we're at our own 35-yard line. Look at who's breaking open. Julian Fleming, you can wave him goodbye. 65 yards for the lead. Julian Fleming has awoken, and in a rather opportunistic time, make that 28 unanswered points for the Los Angeles Rams. You can never count us out. You truly can never count us out. That's something we learned the past 2 weeks, and that's what I talked about in that Texans game. Even though we lost, I was really encouraged by our effort because everything was going wrong and we gave ourselves a chance to win that game as Justin Jefferson wants an answer. He breaks the tackle as Uriah Thomas, the last line of defense, but Jefferson quickly moves the Vikings to the 25-yard line. Sam Howell all the way to the 8. What a mad dash by the quarterback. Bucky Irving, next play, he's in. Minnesota gives up the lead, 28 unanswered, and then they decide, oh, all right, we actually have to try again. All right, cool. Here, watch this. Quick touchdown drive, giving up. That's a little deflating, but like I said, a lot of positive signs in our ability to stay in games when things are going wrong and have that comeback potential, to know the game's not truly over until it's over. We're just not going to bend down. We're not going to give it up, right? We're going to fight until the end. Eric Singleton fighting out of bounds, gets the first down. All of a sudden, Jalen Henderson has 250 passing yards, adding more to that tally. RJ Maryland with the journal. That's exactly at midfield. Henderson now 270 yards passing. He wants Maryland again. That's a tight window throw, maybe a bit too dangerous of a throw as we go play action. Second down. Who's open? Wide open, Terry. Who's not making the throw? Jalen. All right, third down. Jalen, can you make an accurate throw? Fleming breaks open, on target, on time, on the money. That's going to take us to the 24-yard line. New set of downs as we get the sweep for Julian Fleming, trying to cut it inside, trying to follow the block for C.J. Donaldson. Fleming perhaps too fast to follow his own blocker. Second down, last play of the third quarter. Henderson in trouble and just gets that off before Dallas Turner gets a late hit. Third down, need 2 yards, and James Cook is moving. He's grooving. He's scoring. James is cooking! And he's cooking with fire. Woohoo! 1, 2, 3, 4? What's that? 4 Vikings that got juked on the play? At first, it was all about survival to get the first down, to get by the superstar Emin Lori. And from there, James Cook got big eye. He saw the end zone and he was willing to do anything to get there. And James Cook in the game, that's normally a spot where C.J. Donaldson would of course be getting a touch in the red zone, but with his fumbling issues, I put James Cook in the game for some snaps, and I mean, look, James Cook is going to be stealing some snaps from C.J. Donaldson going forward. I don't think there's a doubt about it because, I mean, I love C.J., X-Factor running back. I love what he did last year, but it's all about the now right now. If you're fumbling right now, I need to go with the best available option. We're trying to win a football game right now, all right? We can't play favorites. We got to do what's best for the team. As Sam Howell got a man open, Cornelius Johnson will not stop until he scores. And we got a classic brewing at U.S. Bank Stadium as we're all knotted up at 35 apiece. Our Rams offense is rolling now. All of a sudden, the Minnesota Vikings have awoken. This game was an onslaught in the first quarter, a defensive battle in the second, and now a shootout as we play the third and fourth quarters. Jalen outside. RJ again in the corner. Cannot quite get it to him. He just can't get his hands out there. RJ Maryland's not the tallest of tight ends. He's 6'4", so he might not be able to make some of those plays. Laramie Tunsil goes out the game, and his backup Kappa gets shredded. Now it's third down and 19. Watch out. Jalen throwing. Got it. Julian Fleming on the run. Away from the pack. Julian Fleming. Woohoo! What a game changer. All the way to the 23. A third and long conversion. Jalen was in trouble once again, out of control, and he makes the throw. That might be roughing the passer. For now, Maryland gets a gain of about 7. It is roughing the passer. Get us a first and goal at the 8. Tie ball game. James Cook not getting too far. Dallas Turner makes the tackle. The Vikings trying to get a goal line stand. That's Fleming in motion. That's Fleming getting the ball, getting the touchdown. Julian Fleming is taking over this second half. And that's what we need from our wide receiver one. The lead is in possession of our Rams once more. Will that be the last score of the game? Yeah, probably not. Probably not. The offenses seem to be unflappable right now. As Bucky Irving, he wants his turn to get involved in the action. We've done a great job on Bucky. 21 for 89. You live with that with a superstar X-Factor running back, right? We're giving him a lot of rushes to earn a couple of yards. Ball's out! And it touched out of bounds. No one recovers. It's Vikings football. New set of downs. Open Jefferson! What a grab! Oh, Justin Jefferson climbs the ladder to beat Azariah Thomas on the play. Under pressure, Jefferson. He beat a double team on that play. I don't know what to do with 18. Here's Bucky, first down. Trying to get in the end zone. Trying to tie this game up once more. Gets a yard, nothing more. Second down, shotgun. Howell looking. Pocket, Gray, rolling, throwing. Picked off. Picked off by Azariah Thomas. It'll be a touchback. Woo! Justin Jefferson broke open, but he ran into a Rams defender in the end zone, and that allowed Azariah to catch up as Jalen Henderson first down and a whole lot more. He refuses to slide. Injury timeout stops the clock before the 2-minute warning. That was a field position shifting run by Jalen Henderson, who is in trouble. He's looking, he's throwing, and it's caught. Oh, Sam Laporta raised his hand. Give me a chance. And he came through. Second down, no timeout called by the Vikings. We'll run it once more. Cook in the game. Cook with the first down and nearly the touchdown. Minnesota's still not calling a timeout, and we're actually going to kneel the ball here. Just try to take away Minnesota's timeouts, and let's see if they even call timeouts, right? Brock Purdy going to kneel this one, and in a bit of a surprising move, the Vikings, they're going to call it. They're going to call game right here. So that is it. The Los Angeles Rams, from down 21 points, come back and storm to victory. Man, these past couple of weeks, man, we talked about this is the hell stretch of the season, and we're having some fun games for sure. This is what it's all about, man, right? Like, it's cool to be blowing guys out. That's fun in its own right. But at the end of the day, you want to compete, right? You want to compete, you want to have fun, and you want to get that, you know, that blood pressure flowing. You want to get that adrenaline pumped up for a close game like that and just have some fun with it. And, you know, whether we're on the winning side or we're on the losing side like last week, you just want to give yourself a chance, see what happens. And games like this, you never know what can happen. We kind of got lucky on that interception to Jefferson because he was open. He was open. He beat Azariah on the play again. And yeah, we just got a lucky bump right there. So we'll take it. I mean, look, man, with all the unlucky stuff that happens to us, the Madden BS is supposed to even itself out at some point. And I mean, that was a big part of the evening out process. So Osiris Torrance, as we talked about, he's going to be out for the next like 3 games or so. That's all right. We're cool with that. You know, just as long as nothing else crazy happens and we get the dub, we complete that storyline, whatever it is, you know, maybe we'll get like 1,000 XP, not really too big of a deal, and we'll keep it pushing to next week. So yeah, next week we got the Pittsburgh Steelers in town. They're an under 500 team, but we'll see if they can provide some upset potential. You never know with any opponent, right? We talked about this is the hell stretch, but the last thing we want to do is be like, all right, then we got the cupcake end of the season, and then you sleep on a team, and that's when you really get in trouble with those trap games, right? So yeah, man, you know, watch this thing out, and then we will move on to week 14 against the Steelers, week 15 against the week 15 against the Steelers, week 16 against the Cardinals, and all that good stuff. Acrisure Stadium awaits our Los Angeles Rams as we look to take one step closer to securing the NFC West division today, as well as perhaps one step closer to getting the 1 seed in the NFC Conference. As you see with the West standings, we're currently 3.5 games up on the Seattle Seahawks right now. There's 4 games left in the regular season, so 1 or 2 more wins should be enough to secure that and hopefully make that week 18 game against the Seahawks not matter. and it could really not matter if we can get the 1 seed as soon as possible. Easier said than done. I mean, there's a chance we just don't get the 1 seed at all, but if we can take care of business, we can perhaps rest our starters in the final week or two of the regular season and make those games as meaningless as possible. That is the goal, but what you don't want to do is fall for the trap game, because yeah, we're playing the 4-9 Pittsburgh Steelers, and on paper, our Los Angeles Rams should easily be able to win this game, but as soon as you underestimate an opponent, that's when you get in trouble, and this Steelers team is not devoid of talent. Of course, you got TJ Watt on that defensive line, but they also have 2 other superstars on that D-line. The Steelers have their own form of the steel curtain that we're going to have to be mindful of as we get ready for the opening kickoff. We are underway. Pittsburgh taking the opening return. Nowhere. They'll just keep it at the 25-yard line. They'll take the touchback as Carson Steele gets the opening handoff of the game. Steele, a former Carolina Panther, traded to the Pittsburgh Steelers, and he's really blossomed in the RB1 role for this team. This Steelers offense, it was completely different from what you might see on an average Sunday. This is not part of the Steelers offense. This is the Rams defense. This is Azariah Thomas, coast to coast for 6. An early score for the Los Angeles Rams on the defensive side of the ball. 3rd and 1, and that was Zach Wilson at quarterback who made the big boo-boo of an error. As I was saying, yeah, there's a lot of different faces on the Steelers offense. Besides George Pickens, yeah, you got Carson Steele back here. You got Zach Wilson, who is now in his 5th year at quarterback for the Steelers, rolling out, has a man, it's Steele. That should have been a steal of a touchdown, but Wilson missed the throw on the run. Now it's 3rd down. Wilson feeling pressure, hit on the throw, and it's incomplete. Couldn't tell you which one of our superstars got there. I believe it was Brian Burns. This is a shank of a punt, and it's actually fielded by Dylan Brooks for some reason, who made it a decent return. I don't know what happened there, but we're going to get great starting field position, which is going to be made a little bit worse, 7 yards worse to be exact, after Christian Barmore gets the 1st down sack. We'll get that yardage back and a little bit extra as RJ Maryland takes the drag route for a gain of 10 or 11. 3rd down, we see the blitz incoming. We actually have time. We're going Fleming. Got it. Julian Fleming flying in for 6. 1-on-1. Julian, do your thing. We'll give you the ball. We'll give you a chance every time. We just need the accuracy to be there. When it's there, I mean, Julian Fleming is not there. He's gone. And it's an early 14-0 lead, and this is the opposite of the Vikings game, where we started off as miserably as possible. Now we get the quick pick 6. We're feeling good. We get a nice touchdown on offense. Zach Wilson is fighting just to get RPO slants off, as we'll get some play action. Wilson going outside. That is Pat Freiermuth with the ball with the 1st down, as we'll go play action once again. Zach Wilson wants it all, wants Pickens, and it's shut down by Azariah Thomas, who has another interception, looking for another return. Azariah Thomas got 99 speed, so you don't want him to see green grass to work with. So that was an important tackle for the Steelers to make, and now we get our first real drive of the game. We started off at midfield earlier. Now we have to work the length of the field, and we'll see how we can do. We'll see if Jalen Henderson and CJ Donaldson can put together a full drive, because that's been the issue the past couple of weeks as we take our 2nd sack of the game, which is not good for the trench boost at all, and nearly taking a 3rd sack as TJ Watt is unbuckling his straps right now and ready to go to work. We got a lot of time. 3-man rush, not threatening us at all. Jalen staying behind the line, looking at his options. He's got a man wide open. Eric Singleton, open space, trying to juke. That's not going to work, but it's still a big first down conversion on 3rd and long. But unfortunately, it comes at the price of Eric Singleton as okay. Fleming's not going to make that catch. That was overthrown, I guess. It said out of reach. I don't know how. But anyways, we'll get the 1st down with Terry McLaurin on the next play. And Eric Singleton, I believe, is going to be knocked out for the rest of this game as CJ Donaldson. Nice move. And Donaldson, who's under fire right now, under a lot of criticism. He's got to perform to keep his snaps in this offense. CJ bruising. This is where he brings his biggest value at the goal line. The 257-pounder goes rolling out on play action. Jalen nearly got it in himself. A yard short. 3rd down, out the pistol. Jalen, handoff, shovel, touchdown. CJ Donaldson untouched for 6. as that's Kevin Dotson, our starting right tackle, who is injured. Kevin Dotson's been all around our offensive line throughout this series. He started off as a right guard. We moved him to left tackle, and then after we got Laramie Tunsil, we moved him to right tackle. Even when Laramie Tunsil got kicked to right guard, we're still keeping Dotson at that right tackle position with Isaiah Wynn at left tackle. So the offensive line, it's always just trying to mesh pieces together to see which formula works the best. There's no real science to it, right? There's no rhyme or reason for what we're doing. It's just try to put some guys in some places, and if they protect the quarterback and, you know, block well enough in the run game, then we'll just stick with it. And that's what we're doing right now, right? We made the switch early in the season, and we've kind of just stuck with it ever since. Of course, the only difference right now is Osiris Torrance is currently injured. Third down, here's Wilson under pressure, got it off behind the line, and Pickens stays behind the line. Good open field tackle by Kobe Durant. No surprise, the Steelers down 21 to start the second quarter with the offense on the field on fourth down. Zach Wilson looking, scanning, going middle, broken up by Devon Jackson. Devon Jackson's so good at picking passes off, but he makes the smart decision there on fourth down to swat that ball. That actually gets us better field position and a better chance of getting the stop, period. So we'll have to continue this onslaught early on against the Pittsburgh Steelers. There's no letting up right now as Jalen Henderson, it seems like he's either off to a miserable start or a red hot start. There is no in between, as we actually get stood up there on third down trying to run a design run for our quarterback. And yeah, that Pittsburgh defensive line, it's no joke. Is that a muff? No, it's Pittsburgh ball. I thought that might have been a fumble recovery for our Rams. That was close as Carson Steele by Bo Braid. Here he goes. He's got to outrun Bo Braid, who makes up for his missed tackle earlier on the play to at least save the touchdown. But nonetheless, the Steelers finally get some footing offensively. They needed that badly. Let's see if they can finish this drive off. Maybe get a third down conversion as George Pickens, he gets the nice game, but we have an offensive lineman injured. That brings up third down. Zach Wilson, good pocket down low. Calvin Austin with the reception. First down and goal at the 6 for Pittsburgh as Zach Wilson finding his footing. Carson Steele to finish the drive off. He's in. He gets by Devon Jackson, and really the offensive line paved the way there for Steele. He made the great cutback, and once he made that cutback, it was smooth sailing as Pittsburgh is on the board. And this is feeling a little eerie. It's feeling a little bit like last week as Jalen Hyatt on the kick return. Of course, Eric Singleton is still injured right now, so Hyatt's actually going to move to our kick returner, as well as taking Singleton's spot in the lineup as that wide receiver 3. Hyatt's really that guy that steps up whenever someone gets injured, right? We saw that with Fleming against the Houston Texans the other week. As speaking of Fleming, he makes that catch on the crosser, taking us to the 39-yard line. Hyatt battling around. And like I said, right? We were down 21-0 and made the comeback the previous week. We don't want the Steelers to do the same. So we'll keep on pushing. Set up a goal to go at the 1. That's Kobe Bowman who makes the catch. Here we go, out the shotgun, C.J. Donaldson walking the dog in for 6 as Jalon Walker injured on the play, and we'll see what his diagnosis is. That's a big part of that Steelers defensive line that we talked about earlier that's been making some plays in this game so far, but if they lose one of those big pieces, that could be a big problem for a team that needs some defensive stops to get back into this game, to say the very least. Is Carson Steele right now, he's a man on a mission. He's a one-man wrecking machine in this Steelers offense. No one else is really making consistent plays, and George Pickens is trying to be that guy. That'll help. He fought for that ball with Kobe Durant on his back as Steele, shifty in the open field and falling forward. He's doing it all. He nearly gets the first down. Let's see if he gets another carry. He does. Doesn't get much, but he moves the chains. That's all Pittsburgh can ask for right now. 3 minutes and counting left in the second quarter as, oh, he lost the ball. Zach Wilson lost the ball. The fumble forced by Buckner. The recovery by, eventually, Brian Burns. We had a number of Rams that missed. Brian Burns able to locate the pigskin on the ground, get us the recovery, get us great starting field position. Hyatt gets half the yards we need to get into the end zone. Donaldson working on a few himself. It's a gain of 5. CJ putting together a solid game so far. Julian Fleming, RPO. Should be good enough for the first down. It is at the 7-yard line. That also stops the clock. Fleming in motion. He'll get it. Jet sweep. Need the block, and he's got it. Donaldson secures Julian Fleming to walk in for 6. The red carpet rolled out for Julian after that block by CJ. And hey, man, 257-pound running back sometimes can get you a nice block, right? And that's exactly what Donaldson did. And, you know, CJ, when we drafted him, remember, we had Nick Chubb at the start and was like, hey, man, maybe we can run some CJ Donaldson fullback. That was in my mind as we drafted CJ, right? We keep him at running back and maybe even fullback at times, but obviously Donaldson has grown into a larger role as we have a second down. Zach Wilson underneath. He'll go to Calvin Austin. Let's see what the Steelers can cook up. 2-minute drill drive. They have their full assortment of timeouts, but of course they're down by 28, so they'll need a whole lot. They got a big mountain to climb to try to get back into this game, and they nearly gave away another interception. Zach Wilson's been careless so far in this game. A screen pass? Yeah, you can't really throw a pick on that unless it's absolutely smothered. So Carson Steele, of course, gets the first down. At this point, we just got to keep our eyes on 33 and just let someone else beat us, even if it's George Pickens, right? What we want is Calvin Austin to try to test man coverage as much as possible and see if he can get away with it, as outside Freiermuth. That was an open hole in the zone, but Zach Wilson just misfired. Here we go, third down. Wilson against the four-man rush, all day to throw. Over the head of the linebacker, that's John Mechie with the reception, and Pittsburgh just lost their final timeout. It's an injury timeout. They probably would have called it anyways, as Wilson dancing in the pocket, taking off, close to the first down, but remember, no timeouts. They got to get to the line, and it looks like they'll spike the ball and bring up a third down and 2 with 15 seconds left. A goal line stand here would be nice. Play action, no one's falling for that. End zone, and broken up in the back end. That was Benjamin St-Juste that actually broke up the play, and St-Juste is actually playing some extra snaps. Grant Delpit got banged up earlier in the game, so we're not going to rush Delpit back and risk injury, so we're not St-Juste. Why not, right? He had a pretty good preseason as the ball is out, and it's recovered by Pittsburgh. 4 seconds to go, and the Steelers might steal 3 points here. They're set up for a 59-yard field goal. Evan McPherson with the shankopotamus wide left, and no good. And the Steelers denied the opportunity to sneak in 3 points before going into the locker room. So, kind of crisis averted. That was pretty careless with Antonio Gibson on the squib kick return. There was not much to be had anyways, as Eric Singleton's back into the ball game, so that's a good sign for him, I suppose. Up by 25, though. We're just trying to work clock, get some first downs, maybe get 1 or 2 more scores. Don't take a hit with Jalen. Oh, we did take a hit, but I think he drew a roughing the passer on that one, which is insane that we not only didn't get sacked, but drew a roughing the passer and got a first down. Now a shot at a touchdown. James! Cook. He was open. It was outside the pocket for Jalen Henderson, so if you want to give him an excuse, that is it. But, man, that was a missed opportunity for sure. TJ Watt injured, so we don't got to deal with TJ on third down. That should give us time. Oh, no! But it's picked off. This spells disaster. This will be a pick 6 for the Pittsburgh Steelers, and we'll keep them invested in this ball game. When we had a chance to really put them to bed early, well, I might have fed them some sugar instead. That is pretty much the opposite of the whole chew clock strategy we were trying to develop. It's an 18-point game. We still have a pretty good margin as Eric Singleton on the kick return finds a lane, and look at him go! Eric Singleton on his high horse. Singleton goes for the homer! He's done it again! The sensational first-round pick of this year's draft. He is a big play waiting to happen. You love to see it. And now it's back to a 25-point game. And now we can breathe easy once more. The pick 6, slight mistake, but we made up for it. We got the points right back. And now Pittsburgh's going to get the ball, and they're going to have to work downfield. And we've been playing some pretty good defense. At the very least, making the Steelers work for their big plays. Though as I say that, they convert on a jump ball to Pat Freiermuth, targeting the linebacker Foyce Lucan in coverage. I feel like when those linebackers get targeted in coverage, there's not really much you can do once you click on. They just have such bad ball skills that, you know, you're just kind of at the mercy of whatever animation Madden gives you, and it's usually not a good one. That was a wide open play. Freiermuth's cooking. Oh, and Carson Steele, he's still on fire. The Man of Steel is in again. And the Pittsburgh Steelers offense, it's awoken. It is surely awoken, and it's a little bit like last week's game with the Vikings and our Rams, where we woke up in the second half, and once we got going, we never really stopped. The Steelers are doing more of the same right now, so it's going to be very important for us to put together some first downs and just shorten this game up, keep the Steelers offense off the field. And that's where CJ Donaldson and James Cook really got to get going. And this is where our ground game that's really been dormant for the past couple of weeks needs to awaken. We need to put together a play to get 3 yards to get a first down, and we're actually going to pass the ball and go to Cook, who makes the grab, but a yard short of the first down. And us not running the ball on third down, I should say, is a sign of the lack of trust in our ground game to develop the crucial plays to get first downs. Remember, we had a 3rd down and 1 earlier in the game, and we tried to run the ball with Jalen and couldn't even get a yard. We lost 2 yards. That's going to be a gain of 15. That's roughing the passer. Yeah, Carson Steele's kind of got our numbers so far today, and we're trying to rough them up just to get some hits on, if anything. It's not even helping. It's hurting as we have a 2nd down. Zach Wilson, yeah, why not go to Steele? He makes a move. He gets the first down, and look, if the Pittsburgh Steelers score a touchdown here, it is a 2-possession game, and there's a lot of game time left. We came back from down 21-0 last week. Are we going to blow a 21-0 lead this week? I hope not. I hope not. Let's try to get a stop here. Zach Wilson, 2nd down. That could have been it. Foyce Lucan with the swat instead of the interception that keeps the drive alive on 3rd down, and backward goes Steele. Divine Diablo. It's like divine intervention as he shoots into the backfield. 4th down, Pittsburgh aggressive, going for it. Blitz in. Wilson got it. Oh, George Pickens. Open touchdown. And the Steelers are making noise. All of a sudden, the terrible towels are waving. And our Rams might be a little bit shook. So we talked about this before, right? When you're winning big against a team, what you don't want to do is turn off the switch, right? When you're in go mode, you don't want to stop. Because once you stop, can you go again? Can you lock back in? And now all of a sudden, you got to try to win 2 football games within 1. We'll see if we can do it, because that's the position we put ourselves in now by giving away this lead. Now, we still have the lead. We built such a big margin, but now we got to convert this 3rd down, and we're going to pass the ball here, looking outside, man open. Jalen spots him, but he cannot hit him. That was CJ Donaldson in the flats, and look at this, 4th down. Yeah, we're definitely feeling the pressure because we're thinking about going forward as we will see driven backward, turnover on downs. The Steelers, this is a one-sided second half, end zone, and nearly intercepted by Azariah Thomas. Flag on the play, and it's DeForest Buckner with a roughing penalty. Everything is going right for the Steelers, who can make it a 1-possession game on this drive. Looking for the touchdown on the sweep. Backward goes Calvin Austin, way backward. That never stood a chance. Roe Torrance with the tackle. 3rd and long. Zach Wilson well protected. End zone! Picked off! Grant Delpit's back into the game, and he gets a big goal line stand. Our 2 players that got injured earlier, Singleton and Delpit, come back in the second half and make some noise as Jalen, trying to avoid a safety, just has to throw that ball away. Should be the last play of the 3rd quarter. It's a run. It's actually Julian Fleming who lost it, and it's recovered by the Steelers. Oh, when it rains, it pours. Not only can we not put this game away, we can't get out of our own way right now. We are begging the Steelers to steal this game. Look at that 3rd quarter, 7-21, as Zach Wilson is dumped. Daniil Hunter trying to slow the Steelers roll, bring up a 3rd down and 18. Carson Steele on the run. He gets some yardage, but not all of it. Let's see what the Steelers do on 4th down. They're actually going to go for the field goal here with McPherson to try to make it a 1-possession game. It is good. The lead that was once, I believe, at 28 in the 2nd quarter is down to just 8. A squib kick here to avoid Eric Singleton. It's James Cook who gets past the 30, trying to find a lane. Gets to the 33-yard line as we go outside. RPO Singleton, who seems to be stepping up in the second half of a lot of these games. Remember the Seahawks game, he ended up getting the game-winning touchdown eventually in that one in the last 2 minutes as CJ Donaldson. Ball security is a must now because we've already fumbled once with Julian Fleming as we have an injury timeout to the Steelers defense. 2nd down in the flats. James Cook close to the 1st down, cannot get it. And 3rd down and inches, 3rd down and 1. It's been quite the battle so far today. Let's see if we can convert. We're going seam. Kobe. Oh, he takes a big shot. No penalty. No catch. 4th down, and this is a dicey field goal. We're going to go for it here. We just need inches, right? We have James Cook. He'll get it. Cook, 1st down. Big play. Just to get a sigh of relief. But check this out. It's actually a turnover on downs. We did not get forward progress, which is insane. James Cook easily at the first down. He got sat down on his back. The play took about a second to be blown dead. And in that time, the referees decided no first down. I can't believe it. And we can't even challenge the play. That is a booth review. They have to challenge that spot. And we're just stuck with whatever the heck that was. I can't believe that. I mean, what else can go wrong in this game, right? Third down, here's Zach Wilson under pressure. He takes a hit. It's an incompletion instead of a sack. Danielle Hunter getting there. Fourth down, can we get this stop? Can we stop the bleeding? Steelers need 2 yards. Zach Wilson holding, looking, firing, and missing. Turnover on downs. Alukon was in coverage. Pressure put on by Byron Young. And we avert disaster one more time. But at some point, our offense is going to have to get something on the board. We can't keep faltering these drives away as TJ Watt taking a cheap shot at our quarterback there as he goes out of bounds at a 38-yard line. Awkward attempt at making the grab by Singleton. He'll get no yak. Screen pass set up for Fleming. Left side. Great blocking. And Julian Fleming with the first down. Right now, we're in field goal range. We're working clock. And we can finally accomplish our goal here that we set way long ago of chewing clock and ending this game as soon as possible. Jalen, big first down on the design run down to the 8. Under 4 minutes to go as Donaldson gets the toe. It's okay we don't score a touchdown on first down, right? We could chew a little bit more clock. End around. Fleming on the run. Oh, he's surrounded and gets out of the jam. Julian Fleming is Houdini. And that may be the one touchdown that we need to put this game away. It took us a while to get there. A lot of drama, a lot of theatrics. But now we have a 15-point lead with 3 minutes left. But I still don't feel that great about it because the Steelers offense has been moving. Now, they've slowed down since about midway in the third quarter, and we'll see if they can get back into high gear. We'll see if they can. Oh, they can lose the ball! They lose the ball! It's recovered by the Rams! It was Bo Braid at the bottom of the pile! Holy cow. Eric Singleton, RPO. This will count as a run behind the line to throw when Singleton, big first down, and he stays in bounds. That'll allow us to chew more clock as CJ Donaldson almost finishes the drive off with his 3rd touchdown of the game. We'll chew the clock down to the 2-minute warning. Steelers still have all of their timeouts. Just need a yard to get this touchdown, and Julian Fleming will score for the 4th time today. Julian Fleming just moving all around and scoring in all different ways, right? Receiving touchdown, we had the jet sweep, we have the end around, and now it's a jet sweep run. We had a jet touch pass touchdown earlier. I gotta be more specific. So yeah, just using Julian in different ways. That's what we gotta do with our best playmaker, right? Fleming is the best playmaker on this offense. The 99 speed, 97 overall player as Pickens. Got it! 114 dunks on the other. George Pickens beating Kobe Durant to the ball. And Pittsburgh, they just don't go away, do they? Here we go, 2-point conversion. This is big to make it a 14-point game. Zach Wilson, drop back, fire, got it, Freiermuth. And now we should expect an onside kick, and here we go. Evan McPherson to put some more pressure on our Rams to give the Steelers some life. He lines it up way back and easily recovered by Terry McLaurin. Back line now making a move on the return. Alright, chill, Terry. Chill. This is not kneel down territory just yet because the Steelers do have their full assortment of timeouts. We gotta be a bit careful because we're not really in field goal range, right? If we don't get this first down, we probably have to punt the ball away as we go to Fleming. Minimal gain, but at least we're taking away the Steelers' timeouts. That's the biggest goal here. Take away their timeouts. Third down. Let's try to ice the game. Down low. This is caught. This is McLaurin. That's a first down, and that is it. Now we can kneel the ball out and finally take our win at Acrisure Stadium. This game, it definitely got more dramatic than it needed to be, But it was a good game nonetheless, man. Shout out to Pittsburgh. It took them a while to wake up, but once they woke up, it was truly a game. Like, that was not one where it was like, yeah, we're just coasting to the victory and the Steelers got some garbage time touchdowns. No, they were legitimately putting pressure on us, and it was a legitimate game in that late third quarter, early fourth quarter, where you just felt like, you know, the Steelers had a good chance to win than we did because we were stuck in the mud, couldn't get out of our own way, could barely get first downs, and even when we did, the referee said we didn't get a first down. So yeah, there was some weird stuff that kind of held us back in that game, but, you know, as we keep on saying, man, you just gotta keep your head down, keep on pushing, find ways to, you know, execute, even when the game's telling you, no, you can't. So yeah, man, good win for sure. Offense line gave up a couple of sacks, so we're probably not going to get a lot of XP. I think we gave up 2 sacks in that first quarter. We were pretty good ever since. And defensively, shot to Grant Delpit, that big interception in the third quarter really seemed to be the play that slowed down the Steelers offense and kind of, you know, took away some of that bravery from Zach Wilson because he was just firing all over the place. He couldn't miss, but after that interception in the third quarter, we got him second guessing once again. So that will now take us one big step closer to the NFC West, and now hopefully we can win 1 or 2 more games and perhaps lock up the 1 seed before the regular season even ends. We're on pretty good pace right now, and the teams we're competing against, we have a big advantage by currently owning a perfect conference record. So we are, we're undefeated in the conference. Let's just put it like that. We lost to 2 AFC teams. So that will really help us and give us a game tiebreaker as well as we move on to week 16 against the Arizona Cardinals. The Arizona Cardinals are back for their second game against our Los Angeles Rams in this 2027 campaign. And just like the first game against Arizona, this will be a CPU game against the Cardinals. The Cardinals are out of the playoff picture, and understandably, the Cardinals user not really trying to play Madden in July with his season over. He goes AWOL, and we get to play his CPU. We beat the Cardinals CPU the first time around. I believe it was like week 10 or something like that, so we'll try to recreate that magic, try to avoid the fluke, and get one step closer to our ultimate goals at the end of the regular season as we are underway at SoFi Stadium. We are very close to clinching the NFC West. A win here or Seahawks loss will definitely get the job done as Devon Jackson gets the interception here. You'll have to see it. Superman doing his magic early, and we also can take a big step to getting the number 1 seed in the NFC with a victory today, even as far as potentially clinching the number 1 seed in the NFC with our still perfect conference record and currently a 2-game lead up on the Carolina Panthers and the Green Bay Packers, who seem to be our biggest threats for the 1 seed. If we get this win today, and especially if Carolina loses, we might actually clinch that number 1 seed today. As you know, we're obviously not going to underestimate the CPU, but you know, we're getting stuff done so far. Pick on the opening drive on defense, touchdown here, and you see James Cook in the fold. We're continuing to balance the James Cook, CJ Donaldson timeshare, as that is a dropped interception by Bo Braid. I believe that was a bad timing ball hawk by me. It's actually not going to end up mattering because we got a roughing the passer penalty, which is unfortunate because that was third down. Even though we dropped the pick, it would have been a punt. Instead, it's a free 15 yards and a first down. And this is what we talk about, the all-man CPU. They can pull some tricks up their sleeve at any given moment and make you sweat a little bit. So we're trying to avoid that as much as possible. As Emery DeMarcado gets the touchdown, and Grant Delpit, who was trying to make the tackle, ends up injured on the play, holding his wrist. So of course we're trying to avoid injuries on this pat to the number 1 seed and trying to be able to rest some of our guys as soon as possible. As Eric Singleton, we're always going to try to return kickoffs with him, and unfortunately Grant Delpit has a broken hand. That's pretty brutal. That's going to knock him out for a while as we go downfield. We hit the easy button, and Julian Fleming is as good as gone for 72 yards and a touchdown. So Grant Delpit, broken hand, is probably going to knock him out for the playoffs, at least the beginning of the playoffs. So that means we have 2 guys that are currently shelved, which makes this chase for the first round bye even more important because remember, Rayshon Benny is injured and he's going to be out until the divisional round of the playoffs. But if we get that first round bye, we'll get him back in time. But this broken hand, I have no idea how long it's going to be. It's week 16 right now. That knocks out Delpit for like 4 or 5 weeks. I don't know when we're going to see him back. So We're going to have to switch some things up in our secondary. We're not going to move Devon Jackson to that strong safety role in our nickel and dime sets. We're still going to keep him at sub linebacker. We're actually going to move Benjamin St-Juste to that safety role, kind of like we did last week, a little bit, except now it's going to be full-time. We talked about it before. St-Juste had a really good preseason for us. He's 6'3" back there, so he's got some range as well as some decent speed, especially with our cornerback speed tree that we have on our coaching tree that gives all our guys +3 speed as Terry McLaurin gets this touchdown to break the tie game. Cardinals are making us sweat, man. This is not what we want, but at least offensively, we're not really making any mistakes. And eventually, the CPU is going to have to crack offensively. That is the goal. And also offensively, like I hinted before, we are managing the carries between CJ Donaldson and James Cook. With James Cook playing well and CJ Donaldson being very fumble prone, what I've decided to do is put James Cook as the third down running back in our depth chart to try to split those carries. So you see James Cook a lot more in shotgun sets, and CJ Donaldson will be that power back for sure. We'll get him involved a lot in the red zone, but when we come out and spread and stuff like that, or gun doubles, we will have James Cook in the game a lot. As Kyler Murray right now is cooking us for the touchdown, third down, and Kyler scrambles. We all move out the way, part the Red Seas, and we are tied at 21 all, and this is becoming a legitimate headache now. And we actually have to fight for this victory, and it just feels like one mistake offensively, we might be in trouble. But a big mistake for the Cardinals defense. They've left Julian Fleming one-on-one again. Fleming flies in for 6 for the second time today, and I mean, that's taking candy from a baby, right? We'll take that every day of the week and twice on Sundays. As Kyler on third down in trouble, and down he goes. It turns out we have to defend this Kyler just like a user Kyler. Put some contains out, and eventually Kyler will break down, and that's what happened there. Byron Young on the contain was able to make the play on Kyler as, Jalen Henderson in for the touchdown. The stiff arm, he falls forward. Great effort to try to move away from Williams, does just enough. That's a big touchdown to give us a 14-point lead, and as long as we can hold here, take a 14-point lead into halftime, we do get the opening possession of the second half, and that'll be a great chance to gain some separation. But Arizona trying to get one more score before we go into the locker room, and they might get it, but for our Rams, Devon Jackson on a runaway train. Next stop, the end zone. Tap the S on his chest. Superman has done it again. And Devon Jackson, he is about to steal our team lead in interceptions on the season away from the now injured Grant Delpit, whose regular season is definitely over. Delpit came into today leading our team in interceptions, but Devon Jackson with a 2 INT performance, he might have not only gotten that lead, but he also might be sneaking his way back into that Defensive Player of the Year conversation, right? It's a quote-unquote down year for Devon. He doesn't have 15 interceptions this year, but as we get the interceptions, some Bo Braid redemption, and Kyler Murray is giving it away like candy right now. We'll definitely be thankful for that as CJ Donaldson gets the touchdown. That should be the final touches on this ball game. It was a sweat for a minute, tied at 21 apiece, but now we have rattled off a bunch of unanswered points. Should be 28, but it's actually going to be 27. There is a rule in this league where you cannot score more than 48 points against the CPU unless you have to try to win the game. So we actually knelt the 2-point conversion, and it's a little weird, but we're not trying to break any rules, right? We do have this game pretty well secured. We get an interception on the last play of the game. Cardinals trying to sneak in a touchdown. Foyce Lucan says not on my watch. So yeah, we're just not going to break any rules here late in the regular season. Take our dub against the computer, keep it pushing, and we'll check on that Grant Delpit injury in a moment. The good thing about these CPU games is it is pretty good stat-wise for Jalen Henderson, especially because, I'm not really throwing many interceptions against the computer. I'm not really taking any chances. I'm hitting Fleming. We get a lot of opportunities to get Julian Fleming wide open, so we are able to make that shake, and Jalen Henderson ends up with some very good numbers. I think both of these CPU games against the Cardinals, we did something like 350 yards and 4 touchdowns to 0 picks, so multiply that, and does well for Jalen in his race for potentially trying to win some awards. Right now, Jalen Henderson, believe it or not, is in the MVP race as Grant Delpit is out for the next 6 weeks. Oh my. So week 17, week 18. Dude. Grant Delpit maybe comes back for the conference championship if we make it, and that's a big if right now, but I don't even know if he makes it back in time for that. We might have Grant Delpit. If we make it to the Super Bowl, that might be the only way we get to see Grant. Do we get to the Super Bowl without Grant? I mean, we have a really good defense, so I feel like we can plug and play, but you just never really know. The good news is we do not have to worry about Wildcard Weekend. We will be off for wildcard weekend. We have officially clinched the #1 seed with 2 weeks to go in the regular season. As we move on now to week 17, this will also be a CPU game against the Cleveland Browns. So we are going to play our starters, try to get a lead early on and rest our starters after that. But we do pretty much have the #1 seed confirmed by virtue of currently having a 2-game lead and owning tiebreakers over the Carolina Panthers and the Green Bay Packers. For Carolina, we own the conference tiebreaker. And for the Green Bay Packers, if we do lose out and the Packers win out, we would actually have the same conference record. We would both be 11-1. But, of course, we have that head-to-head. And yes, even in a 3-way tiebreaker, we would still be the #1 seed because ourselves and the Packers would have that tiebreak over the Panthers, and then we would win the head-to-head over Green Bay. So, therefore, we're sitting pretty right now. It's just really team health is the only thing we have to watch out for. Now, like I was saying, Jalen Henderson is in this MVP race, so we are going to put him out on the field this week and see if we could get some good numbers against the CPU once again. Not only the MVP race, which right now is looking like an outside shot. It looks like Gavin Wimsatt of the New England Patriots is about to win his 2nd MVP award in a row. He's playing quarterback out there and putting up some historic numbers, especially passing touchdowns. I believe he's over 50 right now, but yeah, Jalen at least has a decent shot to end up winning best quarterback in the NFC conference. And funny enough, the player we're going to beat for best quarterback in the NFC conference is going to be Bo Nix of the Seattle Seahawks, who was going to win that award until we injured him back in week 11. So yeah, Rams playing kind of dirty to try to win an award, but we'll make it happen. Julian Fleming is also definitely in contention for best wide receiver, and what a good game today. We can hopefully secure that best wide receiver without having to play Julian in week 18. Now, granted, winning these awards really doesn't matter. Normally, you want to win the awards to get dev upgrades, but given this is the last season of the CFM, and Julian Fleming is an X factor, right? We don't really even need the XP for Julian Fleming at all. He's a 97. I think he's actually a 98 overall now. CJ shimmying, shaking, and scoring. So yeah, that would only matter dev upgrades when we get to the Super Bowl, and even then it's like, Jalen is a normal dev. He would go to star, and that really does not matter, as we are currently in a 7-7 ball game with these Cleveland Browns. Just hoping we don't get into another shootout like we did against the Arizona Cardinals, because that game got a little bit scary for a moment. Oh, and speaking of scary, Azariah Thomas injured. Not the first time we've seen that this season. We saw it earlier, and, we ended up getting Azariah only out for the rest of the game. That was actually that Seahawks game as, okay, this Isaiah Crowell-looking dude out here. I believe that's Laviska Shenault, who just broke a tackle. He was going to get the first down, but man, he didn't have to break the tackle and bully us like that, as that's a bruised sternum, so Azariah's going to be out for the rest of the game, which honestly, fine. Take the day off, Azariah. And you know what, Azariah Thomas, probably going to be done for the rest of the regular season. We'll see you in the divisional round of the playoffs, Azariah. It's cool. We got some backups that are ready to play, and especially with the way the injuries are going, right? As the Cleveland Browns, like I said, we do have the #1 seed secured as Eric Singleton, another electric return nearly to midfield. It's a little bit risky playing these starters against the CPU, but at the same time, right, it is like one of the last games we're going to play with this team. I want to play with my boys. I want to play with my boys one last time. We're going to rest them in week 18 regardless, but, we're playing the CPU in July. Let me play with Julian Fleming. Let me try to get some numbers with Julian one more time for old time's sake. Let me try to knock some dudes down with CJ Donaldson. Let me try to get some picks with Devon Jackson. Though, unfortunately, on that last drive, we ended up missing an open Julian Fleming. That, of course, is the one worry as we get a sack here with Gabe Hall. Our defensive line still missing not only Rayshon Benny that we talked about before, but Ashton Gallant, who is still out for the rest of the regular season. As it's shaping up right now, we should have everybody ready for the playoffs except for Grant Delpit with that broken hand, including Benny and Gallant. So, and even Osiris Torrance, who I believe is also out. I believe he comes back next week, but we'll probably rest him. We'll rest that whole O-line next week, right? Tunsil especially, the superstar, he will definitely not be playing next week as we bomb it downfield. Eric Singleton with the diving grab, beating Denzel Ward on the play. Singleton back at it as we are putting up some pretty efficient numbers right now. Looking end zone. Fleming got it. Touchdown. Hey man, Julian Fleming against the CPU is honestly literally the easy button, which we kind of need right now. We were down by 11, right? Like, the CPU is putting in work. CPU Dak Prescott literally cannot miss a read right now. It's kind of crazy how on point CPU Dak is. Like, he makes every pre-snap read, though that time, as he had to hold the ball, we bring the middle linebacker blitz with Foyce and Lucan that ends up working out third down. I'm so glad they ran the ball and didn't give it to Dak, because Dak would have surely dotted us up one more time. Instead, we finally get a stop on that Browns offense, and now we have a chance to take the lead before going into the halftime locker room. The thing is, we don't want to score too quickly, because the way Dak is moving that ball, we don't want to give him too much time to get a score right back, or else this touchdown would pretty much be nullified. I'm saying touchdown if we score a touchdown. Though we are moving the ball pretty well downfield right now. It's 2nd down and 1. We're on schedule, on time. Donaldson with the carry, a first down, and now we'll try to choose some clock. Though we don't want to get too cute right here, because if we have to settle for a field goal, yes, we get the ball to start the second half, but we'll still be losing. So let's see if CJ can punch it in. He gets punched backward instead by Myles Garrett. We have to burn our second timeout. Going to come out in this single back bunch one more time and get sent backward, trying to reset the play, and we end up getting a false start, which was surprising because I wasn't really calling any audibles. It was just one reset of the play, but I guess the all-man CPU had different ideas. Third down, wide open, and missed them again. That's a second third down throw that we have straight up missed to an open receiver with Jalen Henderson. Jalen doesn't want these awards that bad, I guess. All right, Jalen, you don't want these awards? That's cool, but we're also probably not going to win the game if he keeps on doing that. So, yeah, it's this old classic all Madden game that we're in right now, but we are down by 1. We do get the ball to start the second half. The main thing is, I feel like we can move the ball offensively anytime we get it. We just don't want to fumble. That's the one thing we want to avoid, which means we probably shouldn't be returning kickoffs, but I'm going to do that anyways as we hit up Terry McLaurin, who's been pretty busy. And I got to say, Terry McLaurin, you know, I praised him before as Julian Fleming. Yeah, you can wave him goodbye. That's a 69-yard touchdown, and the lead is ours. Man coverage, Julian Fleming, easy button. That's the lesson today. So, yeah, I mean, with Fleming, obviously Fleming's going to sometimes have to be a decoy in this offense. Teams will try to do everything they can to stop him. And that's where Terry McLaurin has really been great as a wide receiver too. And last year we really played Terry as a wide receiver 3, and we played Cooper Kupp in that slot. And it makes you wonder, like, we probably, even though Cooper Kupp had a good season, as that is somehow not intercepted, we probably should have put Terry in the slot last year and just kicked Cooper Kupp outside, because I mean, he's really been playing well in this role. And I don't know, maybe it's just whoever's playing slot for us does well, right? Because even when we put Fleming in the slot, you know, our slot receivers just seem to cook the way we play offense with this squad. As fourth down, that's not going to work out, trying to set up the screen. Holding them to a field goal is huge, right? Like, at this point, we got to take small victories in what has been a hellacious game against the CPU Cleveland Browns. And by the way, if you guys were wondering, I'm pretty sure I mentioned it before around the start of Season 4, because as you guys may remember, we played the Cleveland Browns in the Season 3 Super Bowl, and the Cleveland Browns user ended up leaving around, like, after Week 1 of Season 4. He was caught stat padding or something like that in his Week 1 game, and instead of taking a suspension, he said, I'm gonna leave the league. So he took his ball and left. Whatever. So, yeah, no Browns. Well, they had a Browns user, but the Browns user that was supposed to be playing this season, he was on vacation or something. Once again, it is July. Can't blame somebody for going on vacation instead of playing Madden in July. So, this guy's also out of the playoff picture, so we just ended up with his CPU. We saw that last year, last cycle with the New York Giants, Season 5. I think we played 4 or 5 CPU games in the last year. It's just something that kind of happens in the last year. Is Dak Prescott fumbling the ball? It's recovered by the Browns, but the big story is Prescott immediately going to the blue medical tent, limping to the blue medical tent, and that is huge for us because Dak has been the difference maker so far today. The backup quarterback is Mac Jones, and Mac Jones, he was straight up confused out there. He cannot make a read if the answer was right in front of his face. As, yeah, Mac Jones is just gonna throw the ball away on back-to-back plays, and hopefully Dak can be the breathing space that we need, especially if Dak is out for the rest of the game. Whew. Okay, CJ Donaldson is injured. Now this is the part, we're in the fourth quarter where we're probably going to have to stop playing around. We're probably going to sub Julian Fleming out, especially with a touchdown here. Just sub as many guys out as possible as we cross our fingers right now in the diagnosis for CJ Donaldson. We have Antonio Gibson in the game now. Gibson's going to try to do some mop-up duty. Third down, Jalen firing, end zone, and caught by Kobe Bowman. What a grab over Denzel Ward. Good news, CJ Donaldson, he is banged up. He can't come back in this game if we need him to. Obviously, we're not going to bring Donaldson back in this one, and we're not really going to bring anybody back in this one. We'll just sit our boys, especially on defense as well, sit whoever's left on our defensive line and get to the finish line, get this dub, and then week 18 we'll have a little bit of a backup bowl. We're going to be playing the Seattle Seahawks in week 18, and they've also clinched a playoff spot, so they have no business, no interest in trying to play their starters. Obviously, we've clinched the division over Seattle, so they're locked in as a wild card team. So, yeah, we'll just relax, which is a welcoming change, because usually when we play Seattle, it's usually high stakes, and you think in a week 18 game against the Seahawks, it would be super high stakes, but we did what we had to do. We took care of business in this regular season, and thus we are rewarded with a sweat-free week 18 game, and not even have to worry about the wildcard round, which means that our Los Angeles Rams will have not only made the playoffs every single year, but made it past the wildcard round every year. So a highly successful stint with the Rams, but of course the job is not done just yet. We still got one more playoff push to make here, as Danielle Hunter is going to get the sack, and will be the last play of the game in a high-scoring game, 31-48. Dak came back and started dotting us up again, and I mean, the difference really was just injuring Dak for just that one series and, you know, holding him to one field goal. It was a slim margin. It was not an easy win by any means. So, like I said, we had to execute an offense. Thankfully, we did. We got it done. So, yeah, we get the dub. Fleming puts up some big numbers, and hopefully that should secure him that best wide receiver award just for legacy purposes and help Jalen Henderson get that best quarterback award and, you know, maybe even push Devon Jackson to that best defensive player as we get ready for week 18. Now we travel to Lumen Field for our regular season finale. The Los Angeles Rams taking on the Seattle Seahawks in a game that, when it was first introduced, could have had multiple playoff implications. You have two juggernauts in the NFC conference from the same division going at it in the final week. This could have decided a conference, a division, or a playoff spot in general. But when all the smoke clears, this game means virtually nothing, because our Rams have clinched the division. We have clinched the #1 seed. The Seattle Seahawks are locked into a wildcard spot. The only playoff seeding that can change is the Seahawks could potentially drop from 5 to 6 with a loss today, which is not really a big deal. Therefore, both teams will be playing backups throughout this game as we are underway. And when I say backups, I mean as many backups as we could possibly put on the virtual gridiron. Jalen Henderson have the day off. Julian Fleming, RJ Maryland, CJ Donaldson not going to play. Our entire offensive line, they will get subbed out. Whoever's left on the defensive line, of course, some of them are currently injured, but the likes of Gabe Hall will definitely rest him. Probably play Danielle Hunter. Why not? In our secondary, no Azariah Thomas. Don't expect Ro Torrance today. Delpit is injured, and you know you probably won't see any Bo Braid. And then as far as the linebackers go, we'll give Foyce Lucan and Byron Young the day off, as well as, of course, Brian Burns. As we roll out with Robbie Ashford. Of course, backup quarterback, that means it's Robbie Ashford time. Not an unfamiliar sight for our Los Angeles Rams, especially last season. Ashford, he's been thrown under the fire before, so now in his second season, this will be his first real start. Let's see what he can provide, right? Let's see what improvements Robbie's made to his game, and improvisation seems to be one of them, as we find Antonio Gibson for the touchdown. Expect to see a lot of Gibson today. We're going to be rocking him all night long. And really quickly, our defensive line is so banged up that we actually had to sign a right end off of our practice squad. One of the guys we drafted, Kitchens, that we put on our practice squad for the entire season, we've actually signed him for this week 18 game, because not only are all of our ends currently injured, Rayshawn Benny, Rayshawn Benny, Nash, and Goliath, our backup, our first-round draft pick, one of our first-round draft picks, Jalen Thompson, got injured in practice. So we literally had no healthy right ends, and you have to sign a player at every position that is healthy in order to play a game, or else the CPU will just cut a random player and sign someone for you, which, if you may remember, happened to us either season 1 or season 2. I believe it was right before the start of the season 2 playoffs when Tim Patrick got cut on our team, and some random left end or something like that ended up getting signed because we had no healthy ones available. As we roll out with Robbie Ashford, got a man over the head of the defensive lineman. It's Cade Otten. Yeah, we're really going deep into our bag right now, trying to find people to play some minutes. As Gibson, he almost got in, as Mike Evans getting injured on the play. We don't really use Mike Evans, but he is a guy that, you know, could be subbed in for a gadget play or two. So it would be unfortunate if he was lost, but of course this is why we don't have the starters in, because imagine if Mike Evans was Terry McLaurin who got injured, right? And got a dislocated elbow, which happens to Mike, which means Mike Evans will probably, I'll say he might miss a couple of games in the playoffs. We'll see, but I suppose those gadget plays will be taken out of our playbook. Oh well, as DeForest Buckner gets injured, once again proving why we have the backups in the game. And of course, Seattle, don't expect any DK Metcalf. Bo Nix is healthy once again. Remember, we injured him mid-season, but Bo Nix will be back for the playoffs, but not for today's game. And we're actually going to be bringing our backups back into the game, as that's somehow not intercepted, right? Even with a high injury risk, I would rather put DeForest Buckner out there to give it his all until he potentially breaks apart than put Gabe Hall in the game, you know? So, oh, that's an interception. That's Terrence Brooks. He scoops up the low ball, and he's off to the races. Terrence Brooks on a runaway train. Next stop, the end zone. Pick six, coast to coast for the Rams defense. I don't know if we were really in a great position on that RPO. It just seemed like the backup quarterback, John Miller, just threw a wobbler for whatever reason. He didn't get hit on that throw, so I don't know what happened, but we were in a perfect spot to scoop up that ground ball and finally play some defense in this game. That we were both getting worked up and down the field, so it's good to see somebody can you know, provide at least one defensive play, even if it's a little bit fluky, as this will be Tajay Spears trying to run for the first down and not able to get it. And of course, this is a pretty relaxed game. Fourth down, like I said, there's literally nothing on the line. We're just shooting our shots right now, having some fun with it. So Seattle goes for it on fourth down. Not going to get it, though. Will Shepard not able to make that catch. And, you know, sometimes that'll happen with backups where they just cannot make a simple catch in traffic. But you don't expect the backups to have a lethal connection like Robbie Ashford and Sam Laporta, as Antonio Gibson goes sky high for the touchdown. This could be a big game brewing for Antonio Gibson, because, you know, we've seen what he's done in a starter role against other starting quality players during this season. Like, he's still got some juice left in the tank for sure. So going against a lot of Seattle backups, presumably, you know, it might be a century mark day and a couple of touchdowns for Gibson. He already has a couple of touchdowns as we get the interception with Jalen Guidry, and all of a sudden, this is an onslaught for our Los Angeles Rams. And we might have to put Chew Clock on as early as possible to get this one over with his Kobe Bowman on the sweep, getting the first down, trying to hit the Jurtle right there. I don't know why that man's wearing 25 in the secondary. You can't be having anybody wearing 25 on the Seattle Seahawks. That's Sherm's number, man. As we once again locate Kobe Bowman. 2-minute drill time for Ashford and the boys, but you're going to notice that, you know, this game is so, you know, so it has such low stakes that after this play, we're actually going to chew clock and just kick a field goal, right? Like, I'm just trying to get this over as soon as possible. We're not in kill mode right now. We're in the opposite of kill mode. And I think myself and the Seahawks user have the same mindset, where we're just kind of running through the motions right now. So, you know, we're up by 24 points. It's looking like it's going to be a dub. Let's not waste any time and call timeouts and try to get some crazy 2-minute drill going with the backups. It's all right. You know, I don't think Seattle's going to be pushing. I don't think we're going to get a lot of up-tempo from the Seahawks in this second half, right? We're just going to, you know, sack them and, yeah, huddle up. Bring up a third down and 15. Call a screen pass, conservative play, and Jalen Guidry cannot make the tackle. Devon Jackson trying to prevent the first down. That's actually Terrence Brooks that ends up making the play on the ball. So, yeah, we're going to wrap this game up, and as we usually do, we'll go over the season-ending stats at the end of the regular season, and then next video we will wrap up this series with the Los Angeles Rams as Antonio Gibson up the gut with a first down. And yeah, I think Antonio Gibson's well on his way to that big century mark that we're talking about. More than that, perhaps. He looks like a man playing against children right now. There he is, over 100 yards on 15 carries. Number 16 is once again nearly a touchdown, but stood up at the 1. Third down and goal, late third quarter. Antonio Gibson shimmying, shaking, and scoring. Hey, man, someone's having fun today. This game looked like it was just going to be fireworks with backup defenders, and, you know, I thought it was going to be that way. That pick six really just halted the momentum for the Seattle Seahawks offensively, and they've never really been able to recover. And, you know, I suppose once they fell down big, they just kind of dropped the anchor on this one. So now we're just really chewing clock. Somehow got that pitch off to Antonio Gibson, who's gone again. Antonio Gibson, 53 yards off the option from Robbie Ashford, who truly put it all on the line to try to deke out the defense right there, get that pitch off, and well executed by Robbie Ashford. But man, that was definitely risky and probably not a decision we would make in, definitely not in a playoff game, right? We're not going to risk that close of a call as Will Shepherd ends up burning Kobe Durant for the touchdown. We had to put Kobe Durant on the field because one of our backup cornerbacks, Benjamin St. Juste, is currently playing safety for us because of the injury to Grant Delpit. So yeah, as it shakes out right now, it looks like we're going to have our whole team besides Delpit for these playoffs. So hopefully we can make a nice push and try to avoid what we did last year, going one and done in the divisional round after getting the first round bye. There goes Ashford for the touchdown. Normally in this situation, when you're up big, you would be subbing out your starters for backups, but we currently have our backups and it would make no sense to sub them out for starters to appease to league rules. So we're going to get a bye for this one, right? We're going to get a pardon for this, supposedly keeping our starters in. I don't think anybody's really going to bat an eye in July when Antonio Gibson scoring 5 touchdowns in the game and the backup quarterback Robbie Ashford scored a touchdown with a couple of minutes to go, right? It's just part of the game right here, which ends up being, like I said, a Seahawks win. So we actually end the regular season with a 15-2 mark, and I mean, it's been a fun season, man. It's definitely been a fun season regardless. Having a lot of fun with these guys in our last ride. Enjoying the team that we built together. Enjoying the fruits of our labor offensively with Julian Fleming, CJ Donaldson, all those boys. RJ actually had a pretty healthy season besides a couple of practice injuries. Shout out to him. Terry McLaurin, what a fun addition he was. Eric Singleton had a nice rookie year. Jalen Henderson, played every game besides this regular season finale. He made it through the entire season without any real injury concerns. As you guys see, our IR, which should be clearing up. Remember, we get that first round bye, so we skip that extra week Rayshon Benny will be injured for, and we'll have our squad back. And, defensively, we created a monster with that defense. We were trying to build the defense to be ready for when Aaron Donald retired, and as it turned out, Aaron Donald played longer than we expected. He played all the way to the end of season 4, so our team was more than ready to go defensively by the time Donald was, time to hang it up with our defensive line. Gabe Hall, Galot, Burns, Rayshon Benny, all superstars. You see some of our numbers here. The rushing stats are actually a complete mixed bag between Gibson, Cook, and CJ Donaldson. You see the number of touchdowns Antonio Gibson had, almost as many as Donaldson, even almost as many rushing yards, and James Cook not too far behind. So yeah, we have a 3-headed monster at running back. CJ's still the #1 guy, but he's been banged up a lot this year. We've had other guys contribute. Shout out to Jalen Henderson. He ends up finishing 2nd in passing touchdowns in the league. Fleming ends up being near the top in receiving touchdowns and receiving yards, as you would expect. McLaurin over 1,000 yards. Eric Singleton 661 and 3 touchdowns in his rookie campaign, and a well spread out attack behind that between Maryland, Cook, Donaldson, even Gibson, Sam Laporta, Kobe Bowman. A lot of people got to eat this season for our team. Just a nice well-spread attack, which is the way I like it, right? I like spreading the rock around. We're not trying to force feed guys. Whoever gets it, gets it. And that's part of the fun of the CFM, right? We're not just trying to force it to one guy. It's everybody eats on this team. Defensively, Gabe Hall is really eating this season. He was probably our healthiest defensive lineman, which is not a big thing because he missed a couple of games. He had the most tackles for losses. He tied the sack lead with Daniil Hunter, who we've been talking about, a backup. Byron Young, who started the season at middle linebacker, ends up finishing the year with 6 sacks. Brian Burns, a little bit of a down year. Rayshon Benny was doing pretty good, but he was pretty banged up this season. Same with Ashton Galot. Galot got off to a really good start. He got that training camp thing, and then it all kind of fell apart. Defensively, we kind of spread the sugar as far as interceptions. Devon Jackson leads the team with 9, but we get 8 from Delpit, 7 from Azariah, who started off the season slow. Bo Braid with 6 himself. Kobe Durant with 5. I believe Ro Torrance had 5 or 6 right there. So, yeah, just wrecking havoc defensively all around town. Azariah Thomas with a couple of deflections as well. You gotta think he put together a Pro Bowl campaign. Forced fumbles. There were a lot of fumbles in Rams games. So let's just say that we lost a lot of fumbles. We forced a lot of fumbles. So I suppose that all evened out. And then as far as the kicking stats, we did miss a kick with Chase McLaughlin, but we did return 2 kick returns for touchdowns with Eric Singleton Jr., and we had some production on the punt return side of special teams with James Cook. I don't know if he took a kickback for a touchdown, but he might have. He took a couple to inside the 5. He was pretty close on some of them. But that's going to do it for this video, man. Leave a like if you guys enjoyed what you guys saw today. We're wrapping it up with these Rams, man. I'm going to miss these boys. They've been one hell of a ride, but we still got some more work to do. So leave a like if you guys enjoyed this one. Subscribe for more Madden 24 stuff, and I'll catch you guys next time for the playoffs, the finale.